My name is Susan Robinson. I have Stargardt's disease, and I was diagnosed with it about 25 years ago. At this point in my career, I am an executive level business partner, and as someone who is visually impaired with the professional background that I have, I'm often asked to speak or address issues that intersect both. So when I was diagnosed, I was partway through college and I had intended on being an orthopedic surgeon. And I wasn't able to get all of the notes that professors were offering because I can't see clearly. I can't get all the notes. I can't finish tests. Things are just a little blurry. I had worn glasses since the age of 8. And every year I would go to the ophthalmologist, my eyes would be checked, invariably I would get a new prescription, and the world would be clear again. When I finally was diagnosed, I'm sitting in the retina specialist office and he says something to the akin of, you're gonna have to think about a career. You can't be a fighter pilot, which was not on my list anyway. And I forget what he offered as a second option, which I wasn't interested in either. And as he said, and you can't be, and he was sort of going through his mental Rolodex about what a third option could be, I slipped in orthopedic surgeon. Nope, you can't be an orthopedic surgeon. And he didn't quite realize that that's what I had wanted to be, so he just sort of kept going. And I sat back and I said, okay, well, if I can't operate in a hospital, I'll just operate the entire hospital. And that was the end of it. After launching my consulting business, was sort of networked in from a business point of view to the vision loss community. And they said, wow, like, how do you do all that and you're visually impaired? And I'm thinking, you should know how I do all of this and I'm visually impaired. So as I got a little bit more into the vision loss community, folks started calling me disabled. I said, that's kind of curious. I've got a lot of time behind me just engaging in regular life, and no one has ever called me disabled. Some people have been jerks, but no one's ever called me disabled. And I've been called disabled more and more and more. The more I'm a part of this community, the more I'm being called disabled. How is this possible? So I happened to be in a small group, and I had been asked by the informal group leader if I could come give the perspective of the disabled. And I said, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. Because if I accept that labeling, now I've given an entirely new group of people the justification they need to go calling anybody anything they want. And I just don't agree with it. And it's my personal point of view. Other people disagree, and that's okay. It's my personal point of view. You can call me visually impaired. You can call me legally blind. I prefer partially sighted, but all of those work. But I'm not disabled. The language in and of itself catches people off guard because folks say, oh, you're disabled. Well, if you lead with this person is disabled, that person is disabled, you're leading with what they cannot do. People present and they want to be known for their strengths and their talents and what they can do, not what they can't do. So I don't like when the word disability is used to describe people. But when someone says to me, wow, how do you do all that and you're visually impaired? And I'm like, okay, well, how do you not do all of that and you're not visually impaired? The logic doesn't work in both directions. So I don't accept the imposition of somebody else's limitations, hence I fail at being disabled. Ultimately, no person has every tool in their toolbox to be exceptional in every situation, every minute of every day, for every day of their entire life. Every person has a set of talents and interests and skills that are unique to them. Not everyone has everything, and whether you consider yourself so-called normal or whether you consider yourself disabled or you don't consider yourself disabled or you consider yourself nothing at all, you still have a set of characteristics and skills and talents that are really unique to you that you can take into the world. You can maximize them, you can shut them down, it's all your choice. But I interact with a lot of folks who are visually impaired, hearing impaired, sometimes both, folks who have motor coordination issues, individuals who deal with depression and other sorts of mental health illnesses, who are maximizing their opportunity in the world. And it's not because or despite of what some of the so-called normal would consider it to be a disability. It's because they want to and they figure out a way to do it. So if you think that someone is disabled, they can't do something, then you think that they can't do something and you treat them like they can't do something. But if I can reverse engineer that thinking and just flip it on its head, all of a sudden I've gotten you to think that I'm capable of much more. And so all of a sudden I'm starting to get you to think, well, what can't she do? Thanks for having me. This is amazing.